Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret ingredient that powers so many of the smart gadgets all around us. It's this tiny but mighty chip that has quietly kicked off a revolution, and we're going to dive into what exactly makes it so special.
Just for a second, think about all the smart stuff in your life. You know, your fitness tracker, that Wi-Fi light bulb, maybe even a smart plug or coffee maker. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder what the brain inside of them really is?
You might be picturing some big, complex circuit board, right? Or like a mini computer. But honestly, more often than not, all that magic is happening inside a single, really unassuming chip, one that's smaller than a postage stamp.
And that tiny, powerful brain, it has a name, the ESP-32. We're about to find out why this one little chip started a massive revolution in the world of electronics and, the whole Internet of Things. So what is this thing really? Well, at its heart, the ESP-32 is what we call a system on a chip, or SoC for short. Just think of it like a whole computer system that's been shrunk down and crammed into one single component. The really important things to remember are that it's low cost, it's low power, and, here's the magic part, it has both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built right in. And that low cost part, that's key. It's what lets companies build all these cool smart devices at prices we can actually afford.
And this is exactly why it's everywhere now. The ESP-32 wasn't just some generic all-purpose chip. Nope, it was specifically engineered from the ground up for the exact kinds of smart devices that have become so much a part of our lives.
But what really makes it so special? What gives it these superpowers? It honestly comes down to one single word: integration. Just look at this. It shows you the difference between the old way and the new ESP-32 way. Before this chip came along, if you wanted to build a connected gadget, you had to piece things together. You'd need a main brain, the microcontroller, and then you'd have to add on these separate, kind of clunky modules for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The ESP-32 just changed all that. It puts everything, all of it, onto one tiny piece of silicon. It was a total game changer for size, cost, and just how complicated things were to build.
And when you look under the hood, this chip is seriously packed with features. It doesn't have one, but two main processing cores. Of course, it has that built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It even has a special coprocessor designed just to save power, plus a whole bunch of peripherals, which are basically built-in tools for connecting to any kind of sensor or component you can think of.
That dual-core processor, that is a huge deal. It's basically a brain that can handle two completely separate tasks at the same time. So it could be managing a really complex internet connection on one core while it's running your main code on the other, all without even breaking a sweat.
And its secret weapon for battery life is that ultra-low-power coprocessor. It's kind of like a really light sleeper. It handles simple background stuff like checking a sensor, while the two main cores are in a deep sleep, saving energy. This simple trick is what allows devices to run for months or even years on a single battery. It's pretty amazing.
Having amazing hardware is one thing. But what really allows a technology to thrive, to really take off, is the ecosystem that grows up around it. And the ESP-32's ecosystem is just massive.
Okay, on the software side, the flexibility is incredible. You are not locked into one complicated language. You can use familiar tools like the Arduino framework, which is based on C++, or you can use something called MicroPython for super fast and easy development. You can even use JavaScript. This is huge, right? Because it opens the door for a massive range of developers with all kinds of different skills to just jump in and start building right away.
And you are never, ever alone on your learning journey. There are literally hundreds of high-quality video tutorials from really respected creators in the maker community. If you have a question, there's a very, very good chance someone has already made a great video explaining the answer. The hardware options are just as diverse. It's not just the official boards from the company that makes the chip expressive. You have dozens of other companies, like the famous Adafruit and SparkFun, creating their own unique development boards. And this just means there's a perfect board out there for almost any project you can dream up.
So what can people actually do with all this power? Well, how about something completely unexpected? Somebody built a fully functional Nintendo Entertainment System emulator that runs entirely on this one tiny chip. The creativity here is it's incredible.
Or how about this for versatility? A Wi-Fi-enabled beacon tracker, which the creator nicknamed the sheep counter. I love that. It just goes to show the applications can range from the super technical to the surprisingly practical, and yeah, even agricultural.
And of course, it's a rock star at smart home tasks.
This project uses the ESP-32 with something called solid-state relays, which is a safe way to control high-voltage stuff to create smart lighting. So you've got gaming, farming, home automation. It really can do it all.
So after seeing all of that, you might be thinking, this is really, really cool, but it sounds kind of complicated. Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Getting started is actually much simpler than you might think. The path is really clear. 1, you just pick a board that looks interesting to you. 2, you program it using easy-to-learn languages like MicroPython or the very beginner-friendly Arduino software. And 3, whenever you get stuck, and you will get stuck, you just tap into that massive global community for help on forums or Reddit. It's that easy. So from its all-in-one design to the just explosive growth of its community and ecosystem, the ESP-32 has fundamentally changed what's possible, both for hobbyists and for professionals. It puts an immense amount of power into a tiny, affordable package. And that, well, that leaves us with just one final